A 10-year-old Princess Charlotte steps out in a jacket that cost less than dinner for two, and within hours, it disappears from shelves. From her first public appearances to sold-out outfits, her clothes have repeatedly drawn attention from shoppers and retailers. The story behind Charlotte's wardrobe reveals how much power one royal outfit can have. Let's start where it actually started, the day she was born, May 2, 2015. William and Kate walk out of the Lindo wing at St. Mary's Hospital holding a baby wrapped in a cream shawl. That's it. That's the whole moment. A newborn, a blanket, a few camera flashes. Nobody's thinking about retail sales at that point. But within minutes, something strange starts happening on a small company's website in Nottingham. When William and Kate stepped out of the hospital holding their new bundle of joy, G.H. Hurt Sons saw the cream shawl Charlotte was wrapped in start to fly off the shelves, as in, they noted over 100,000 visits to their website in just a few days. That's not a slow trickle. That's a flood, and it hit a company that had no idea it was coming. The director there, Gillian Taylor, later described watching it unfold in real time. It was within a few minutes we noticed on our website that the shawl was starting to sell, she recalled of that day, which saw 100,000 people visit their website from over 183 countries. Think about that. A shawl. Not a designer gown, not a red carpet moment. A baby blanket. From a family business, suddenly getting global traffic because a newborn happened to be wrapped in it. The volume wasn't the issue, the founder's great-granddaughter told WWD. They'd worked with retailers like Harrods and Neiman Marcus before. But the challenge was fulfilling so many individual orders, all within a few weeks. A company used to bulk wholesale orders suddenly had to become a direct-to-consumer operation overnight because thousands of parents wanted the exact shawl a princess had been photographed in. And this became the template. Every time Charlotte showed up in something, didn't matter what, didn't matter the price point, it triggered the same reaction. 6 months after that hospital photo, Kate shared a picture of baby Charlotte in a pale pink cardigan and a floral dress on Instagram. Royal fans were desperate to recreate the outfit on their own little ones. A children's retailer called Alex and Alexa put it plainly to the Telegraph. Demand for items Charlotte wears surges massively on their site, and they saw an increase in customers searching for pale pink cardigans and floral dresses after that photo. Now, here's where the story gets bigger than one shawl or one cardigan. There's a Spanish label called M&H, run by a woman named Margarita Pato with her mother and brother. 5 stores total, all in Spain. Small operation. Then Charlotte gets photographed in 2 of their floral dresses. Pato told the Telegraph what that did to her business. Princess Charlotte wearing 2 of our floral dresses has had a huge impact on our brand, she said. Adding that for a medium-sized brand with only 5 stores, that kind of exposure is enormous. But here's the catch, and it's a catch that keeps repeating throughout this story. The dresses were already gone by the time anyone saw the picture. The dresses Charlotte appeared in were already sold out when the pictures broke because the brand only offers 10 per store of each dress. Otherwise, all the girls would end up in the same outfit, and the halo effect left them planning to launch an e-commerce site shipping to the UK, Europe, and the USA. So the sellout wasn't even really about the initial stock. It was about what happened after, the searches, the traffic, the brand recognition that outlasted the actual dress. And Kate leaned into this pattern deliberately. She was clearly at pains to minimize the frenzy around each picture of Charlotte, dressing her daughter in near-identical outfits. Those same MH floral dresses with pink cardigans. In 3 of the 7 times she'd been photographed publicly, repetition, not novelty, became the strategy. But it didn't matter. Repeated or not, the outfits kept moving. By the time Charlotte turned 1, the numbers behind all this started getting attached to actual dollar figures. Brand Finance, the same firm that puts value on things like national economies and celebrity endorsements, ran an estimate on what a 1-year-old in a floral dress was worth to Britain. Princess Charlotte's selling power was predicted to be worth a $4.5 billion boost to the British economy across her lifetime. smashing her older brother's projected economic boost of $3.4 billion. A poll around the same period found that 1 in every 5 parents considered Princess Charlotte to be a major style icon for their children, and the shopping statistics backed it up. One especially concrete example: a photo of Charlotte in pink booties on a family ski trip. After that image was released in March, kids retailer MyFirstYears.com experienced a 97% increase in sales of a similar style. Booties, not even the main outfit. An accessory in a corner of the frame, and it still moved the needle by nearly 100%. So by the time Charlotte was walking and talking, the mechanism was already fully built. A photo goes out, a brand gets named, and within hours that brand either sells out or crashes trying to keep up. That's the shawl to cardigan to booty pipeline that set the stage for everything that came next. And it only got more intense as she got older and her wardrobe got more visible. If there's one brand that best captures what happens when Princess Charlotte wears something, it's Rachel Riley, a British children's label known for hand-embroidered, old-fashioned floral dresses. The moment that put this brand on the map came around Charlotte's 6th birthday. The Duchess released a portrait of her daughter in a navy and pink floral dress with puff sleeves and a button front, a vintage-style print. Nothing flashy. Priced around £59. Within hours of that photo going public, the dress became, by every measure, the biggest thing that had ever happened to that company. The vintage floral print dress by Rachel Riley proved so popular that the luxury children's wear shop sold 6 months' supply in 3 days. And after the Duchess photographed her daughter in it for an image published to mark her 6th birthday, sales of the frock shot up by 670%. Let that sink in. 6 months of stock, gone in 72 hours. That's not a bump. That's a company's entire forecasting model getting thrown out the window in a weekend. The numbers kept climbing from there. Website visits increased by 826%, and after the dress sold out in 12 hours, pre-orders rose by 724%. 12 hours. A dress that was supposed to last a season didn't even survive half a day once the picture hit the internet. Rachel Riley herself, the designer whose name is literally on the brand, said this caught her completely off guard. She said that the Charlotte effect took her by surprise, telling reporters afterward, "We could never have anticipated the interest in this dress before the picture was shared." This is a woman who runs an established children's fashion house, who has presumably seen plenty of press moments for her brand before, and she's on record saying nothing prepared her for this one photo. What's remarkable is what she was actually doing when it happened. According to her own account, she wasn't even watching the news. She told Hello that it was a delightful surprise, that she wasn't expecting it at all, and was gardening at the time. She only became aware of the picture when friends and family started sending her messages asking if the dress was one of hers. The designer of the dress found out her product had gone viral from her own group chat, not from a marketing report. The aftermath forced her hand on customer service. She said they'd sold out of the dress in 12 hours and had so many messages from customers asking if they could still order it that they set up a pre-order system with stock due back in a few weeks. A small British label ended up building an entirely new ordering process because of one royal birthday photo. And this wasn't a one-off for the brand. Charlotte had worn Rachel Riley before. It wasn't the first time she'd been pictured in the label. She wore a similar style, a 65-pound floral button-front dress, when photographed visiting the garden her mother designed at the Chelsea Flower Show in 2019. So there was already a relationship there. But the 6th birthday dress became the one that made history. Charlotte made fashion history when she donned that floral dress, which proved to be the fastest-selling item in the brand's 28-year history. 28 years of operation, and one photo of a 6-year-old outsold everything else the company had ever put out. Fast forward to Charlotte's 10th birthday, and the pattern repeated, just with a different outfit entirely. Instead of a formal dress, the family released a candid photo of Charlotte on a hike in Cumbria, wearing a leaf print waterproof jacket from a brand called Jack Pike, priced at £39. The daughter of Kate Middleton wore the jacket with navy leggings and a backpack, hair tied up in a windswept ponytail, and the jacket sold out instantly. This one is worth pausing on because it broke from everything that came before it. Charlotte's birthday portraits had always leaned toward dresses and sweater sets. The candid birthday portrait was a notable departure from previous years, as Charlotte typically wore a dress or a more formal outfit with her hair meticulously styled. This time, it was a camouflage-adjacent, outdoorsy look, taken casually on an iPhone, and it still sold out. That tells you something important. It's not about the dress being pretty or the occasion being formal. It's about who's wearing it. Retailers had noticed this same thing happening with her mother for years, and they had a term for it long before Charlotte came along. Much like how Kate is widely regarded as a style icon whose clothes sell out in minutes of her donning them, a phenomenon dubbed the Kate effect. Charlotte, too, was finding herself something of a royal influencer, with parents scrambling to buy her clothing for their own toddlers. So Rachel Riley's story isn't really about one brand getting lucky. It's proof of concept, evidence that a princess's outfit choice, regardless of price point or formality, can outperform decades of a company's own sales history in a matter of hours. And once that pattern was documented with hard numbers, it stopped being anecdotal. It became something economists, journalists, and marketing analysts started trying to actually measure. Once Charlotte's sellouts became predictable, people stopped treating it as a cute coincidence and started running the math. The first serious attempt to quantify it came from Brand Finance, a valuation consultancy that normally works on things like corporate trademarks and national brand rankings. They turned their formula on the royal children and produced a number that made headlines everywhere. Charlotte might be worth a whopping £4 billion thanks to her massive influence, expected to drive that much money into the UK economy over the course of her lifetime. Royal commentator Sharon Carpenter explained the mechanism behind that figure to Us Weekly, describing how Charlotte's influence, known as the Charlotte effect, helps drive sales, estimated to be worth between £3 and £4 billion to the UK economy over her lifetime, more than even her brother George, who will one day be king. Note what's being said there. The future monarch's own sister is projected to be worth more to the economy than he is, because his wardrobe simply doesn't move the same categories of product. Boys' fashion, toys, accessories. It's a smaller market than the one Charlotte taps into. Brand Finance's CEO, David Hay, made this same point directly to Business Insider, saying that even at just 3 years old, Charlotte had an expected worth of over $4.3 billion. With a positive impact on the particular clothes and toys brands they wear and play with. The valuation wasn't hypothetical. It was tied to specific, measurable categories, clothing lines, toy lines, tourism, and these numbers moved over time, tracked year by year as more sellouts piled up. Back in 2016, Brand Finance broke down actual economic contribution figures, not just lifetime projections. Around the time of the royal wedding in 2011, the phenomenon was deemed the Duchess effect, or the Kate effect. Anything worn by Middleton and now her children flies off the shelves. In 2015, the Kate effect brought more than $205 million to the British economy, while the Charlotte effect and the George effect translated to over $239 million combined. That's real annual revenue, generated in large part by a family whose youngest members hadn't even started school yet. To understand why Charlotte's numbers eventually outpaced her mother's own effect on a comparative basis, you have to look at what Kate's wardrobe was already doing to the industry before Charlotte was even born. The so-called Kate effect has its own long paper trail. What Kate wears reportedly boosts the British fashion industry by an estimated $1 billion annually, with her fashion choices leading numerous brands to name items after her. One of the clearest examples of that came from the brand Rice, back when Kate wore one of their dresses to meet Michelle Obama. The brand's founder described the overwhelming surge in demand that resulted in website crashes and rapid sellouts. The dress sold out at a rate of 1 per minute online. 1 per minute. That's the baseline standard. Charlotte was essentially born into and then grew up matching item after item. But it wasn't purely a story of celebration for these brands. There was a darker side to being caught in the blast radius of a royal sellout. And it applies just as much to the small labels dressing Charlotte as it did to the ones dressing her mother. Journalist Sarah Rainey documented what happened to companies that couldn't keep pace with sudden demand. Fashion experts noted that although clothes fly off the shelves at first, the so-called Kate effect having boosted the UK economy by £152 million a year. This requires a huge increase in production, and as a result, many retailers take out loans, rack up debts they can't pay, and end up on the brink of bankruptcy. Rainey went as far as calling this the curse of Kate, a warning that royal exposure could just as easily bury a small brand under its own success as it could elevate it. That's the tension sitting underneath every one of Charlotte's sellouts. A brand like M&H in Spain or Rachel Riley in the UK gets a moment of massive global attention, but attention isn't the same as sustainable infrastructure. A 5-store Spanish label suddenly fielding orders from across Europe and the US has to scale almost overnight, without the luxury of years to plan for it. Some brands manage that transition well, others don't survive the whiplash. Even with that risk built in, the appeal for brands remains obvious, because the alternative, staying invisible, guarantees nothing. Marie Claire UK described the dynamic bluntly. The Duchess of Cambridge has a very strong influence, known as the Kate Middleton effect, whereby her royal seal of approval can make pieces sell out in minutes and turn small British businesses into internationally renowned brands. Charlotte inherited that exact dynamic, just with a child-sized wardrobe attached to it. So by the time Charlotte hit double digits, this wasn't folklore anymore. It was a documented billion-dollar line item that economists were tracking, journalists were quoting, and small business owners were both hoping for and bracing against in equal measure. So how does one girl's outfit actually translate into a website crashing within the hour? It's worth breaking down the actual mechanics, because it's not magic. It's a chain reaction with very specific, repeatable steps. It starts with the release itself. Unlike most celebrities, Charlotte doesn't do paparazzi shots in the traditional sense. Most of her most consequential fashion moments come from images the family releases themselves, usually shot by Kate on her own phone, timed to a birthday or a major public event. The Prince and Princess of Wales have traditionally marked the birthdays of their 3 children by releasing a new portrait each year, ever since Prince George was a baby. That's a controlled single-image drop. No red carpet, no press junket, just one photo hitting Instagram at a scheduled moment. That single image then gets picked up almost instantly by a network of outlets and bloggers whose entire job is dissecting what the royal children are wearing. There are blogs dedicated to dissecting Princess Charlotte's outfits. Yes, really? And what's come to be known as the George effect is well documented too. This isn't a fringe hobby corner of the internet. It's an established beat, with dedicated coverage waiting for every single portrait. Once the outfit's identified, and it usually gets identified within hours, sometimes minutes, by fans or journalists tracing the exact label, the retailer becomes the story. A Spanish research piece on the phenomenon lays out the sequence clearly. Every appearance of Princess Charlotte is usually followed by a flurry of articles, blog posts, and social media discussions dissecting her outfit choices, and these media mentions create a constant buzz that keeps the interest alive. The coverage itself becomes part of the sales engine. Every article, every repost, every Shop the Look roundup adds more traffic to the brand's site. And crucially, this isn't limited to designer labels. Part of what makes the Charlotte effect distinct from a typical celebrity endorsement is that most of what she wears is affordable mainstream high street stock, the kind of thing an average parent could actually buy if it weren't already gone. While you might think the most photographed family in the world would wear designer labels exclusively, they're more likely to be wearing high street or even supermarket brands. Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis already seem to know the value of cost per wear. A cable-knit sweater and denim shorts from Next. A yellow jumper from John Lewis. These are stores anyone can walk into, which is exactly why the sellouts feel achievable and why so many parents actually try to chase them down. That accessibility shows up again and again across her wardrobe. To celebrate Charlotte's second birthday, her parents released a picture of the toddler wearing a pastel yellow Fair Isle jumper from John Lewis, which sold out instantly. Not couture. A department store jumper, gone within the day. The Trooping the Color appearances tell the same story. Year after year, brand after brand. The young princess wore a 77-pound floaty cornflower blue frock from Portuguese children's brand Patachu for one Trooping the Color, and it sold out. Though similar styles remained available. Same with a summer party outfit. For the Platinum Party at the Palace, Charlotte picked out a red sequin dress by Sousa, complete with a matching cape that sadly sold out too. Sometimes the sellout hits a brand that had zero expectation of royal attention at all, like the concert dress she wore to see Taylor Swift. Princess Charlotte wore a pink sequin dress by high street brand John Lewis when she went to see Taylor Swift, and she caused the style to sell out, rather like her fashion icon mother. That night wasn't even a royal engagement. It was a pop concert. And the dress still moved off shelves because a camera caught her in the crowd. Then there's the Jubilee moment. Saturday's concert dress wasn't the first time Charlotte had caused clothes to fly off the shelves. Back in 2022, at the Queen's Platinum Jubilee party at the Palace, she dazzled in a red sequin dress from Monsoon, which sold out within a few hours, with numerous calls for a restock. A few hours. That's become close to the standard turnaround time for anything she's photographed in during a major public event. And it's not just dresses. Accessories catch the same wave. Charlotte recently wore the Amelia dress, and as a result, the entire Amelia print range sold out. One dress pulls an entire product line down with it, because shoppers aren't just hunting the exact item anymore, they're hunting anything adjacent to it. Even her earliest public outings as a toddler follow the exact same rhythm. Back at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, Princess Charlotte's black and white striped Rachel Riley dress sold out within 24 hours of her surprise appearance with the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. A surprise appearance, not even a planned portrait, and the same 24-hour sellout clock started ticking anyway. So the machinery looks like this. A photo drops, dedicated royal fashion press identifies the brand within hours. The story spreads across outlets, who all publish Shop the Look pieces, and everyday shoppers, parents specifically, chase down an affordable, identifiable product before stock runs out. It's not one mechanism. It's 4 or 5 compounding on top of each other every single time. So where does all of this actually leave the brands, the family, and the girl at the center of it? For the small businesses, the aftermath is mixed, and it's worth being honest about that. Some come out transformed. Rachel Riley went from a respected but modest children's label to a name every royal watching outlet mentions on site. And that 6th birthday dress moment became a permanent part of the brand's own story. Its own team still calls it our fastest-selling royal item ever. That kind of recognition doesn't disappear once the stock replenishes. It becomes part of the company's identity going forward. Mem H, the small Spanish label with 5 stores, used its moment to actually expand its infrastructure. The halo effect left the brand planning to launch an e-commerce site that would ship to the UK, Europe, and the USA, turning a single royal photo into a permanent shift in how the company reached customers. That's the version of this story that works out. But not every brand manages the jump cleanly, and the industry itself has quietly acknowledged that risk. The same surge that makes a small label famous overnight can also expose it to debt, overproduction, and collapse. If it can't scale fast enough to meet demand it never planned for. It's the flip side of every headline about a sold-out dress. For every brand that turns a royal moment into lasting growth, there's another quietly wrestling with the logistics bill that moment left behind. For Kate and William, the sheer scale of this phenomenon eventually became something they had to actively manage rather than simply enjoy. Kensington Palace made a notable decision around wardrobe transparency, shifting away from routinely confirming exact brand details for Kate's own outfits. A spokesperson framed it as wanting the focus to shift away from her clothing and back toward her work. an acknowledgement that the sellout machine had, in some ways, grown bigger than the family's ability to comfortably steer it. That tension shows up in how the family handles Charlotte's image specifically. They've leaned into repetition rather than novelty for years, re-wearing familiar labels, keeping outfits practical, choosing high street over designer far more often than not. It's a deliberate choice, not an accident, and it hasn't slowed the sellouts down even slightly. If anything, the accessibility is part of what keeps them happening. A 39-pound jacket is something a parent can actually imagine buying right up until it's gone. And Charlotte herself keeps generating these moments completely on her own terms, often outside official events entirely. Her 10th birthday portrait broke from a decade of floral dresses and sweater sets in favor of a hiking jacket and a ponytail. And it still sold out just as fast as any formal gown ever had. That's really the through line of this whole story. It was never about the dress. It was never really about the price tag or the brand or even the occasion. It's about who's in the photo. A hospital shawl on day one of her life proved that. A 28-year-old company's biggest sales day of all time proved it again 6 years later. A camouflage jacket on a hiking trail proved it once more at 10 years old. Different clothes, different brands, different decades of company history behind each one, and the exact same result every single time a camera catches her wearing something new. That's not a fluke repeating itself by coincidence. That's a 10-year-old girl who, without lifting a finger toward marketing, has become one of the most reliable sales triggers in modern British retail. And every brand, from a Nottingham shawl maker to a Spanish family label, has now felt exactly what that means.